and today I've just come here for our continuation about exposure to our children, and we remember we remember our previous topic. Main topic was that if your child was your son, your daughter was Jesus, what would you have done according to Luke chapter 2 verse 52. And today being another day, that last time we looked about the television, and now today we want to check on to look about the cell phone. Each and everyone has a cell phone for one reason or the other. The main reason for having a cell phone is to communicate from people to people from far away. It brings people who are far away next to you. It brings close to you so that you may communicate, you may plan events, you may plan everything. And of course, nowadays technology that most of the time uh, people do their meetings over Zoom, which one most of them they are using their cell phone. Thanks to coronavirus invasion in the world, it has taught us so many things. It has given us opportunity to learn new things. Before, we didn't even emphasize on having a Zoom meeting because of social distancing, or avoiding gathering to limit the infection. So now the phone is a good thing. The phone, we use a phone to communicate, and it's a good technology to us as adults. Now I want us to talk about to talk according to a child's perspective. If your son, your daughter gets hold of your phone, either there are two things. Maybe he's watching a cartoon that you downloaded for him or her, or maybe he's playing games on the phone, of which it's good. It motivates them to think big, to think out of their box. But one thing that we have never realized about the phone, how it affects the impacts of a phone to a child's exposure. Once this kid is exposed to a phone, and nowadays the parents are they are just leaving their phones freely to their children. They don't even feel insecure about the cyber bully or whatever it takes, whatever these kids will get from it. Like last time we looked at the effects of our television, child being watching for a long of time television, and some programs that are being run on the television. And we looked at that there are so many ways that the television affected the kids. For example, they whatever they are watching there, they after watching they put it in practice. So the same phone, the same thing to our cell phones, our smartphones, they are good, but at the same time they are very dangerous to our kids, especially those kids who are under 16 years old. So as parents, as guardians, let us take precaution as we are using our cell phones. And now today I want us to talk about the effects or the impacts, negative impacts of our cell phone, or negative impacts of a child being exposed to a cell phone. Number one, the cell phone, how it's going to affect your child, the performance in classes. And you know most of the kids nowadays, they go with their cell phones to school, and how it's going to affect this kid academically is that everything they are not doing on their own, they are not thinking for themselves, but because everything is in the phone. How will I work hard if I have a cell phone that will give me all the answers? And mind you, there is Google also. The Google, you get any answer you write on the Google, you'll get it. So giving our kids a cell phone going to school, it's going to affect our academically to our kids. Number one, they are going to dwell on the information that they are getting on the phone. For example, most of the phones, they have inbuilt calculators which they may use during their exams to get answers. The same thing with the online encyclopedias. They will use that one instead of thinking what he's been taught or what she's been taught. He will get the answer from that cell phone, and that one will be just like there's a saying in Swahili that says uh, applying applying gel using the back of the bottle. The oil is inside, but you are telling this person, I'm applying an oil on your body using the back of the bottle, of which nothing is being applied on the skin. The oil is still inside of it. So the same thing that our kids, when they use the phones, it's just making us believe that our kids are very clever, but in real sense they are not. They are using phones. Let that kid out of that phone and give him an exam. You will see yourself, or ask a simple question out of that phone without him using that phone. You'll be surprised. But when you give him a phone, you'll be proud of your son, proud of your daughter, that my daughter is so clever in class. She's always number one. She scores a high percentage of the exam results. But that one will be cheating ourselves, that we are raising our kids according to God's standard. We are raising these kids that we are raising them to be the best community that we need in the near future. And number two, another thing, like mental, another effect is mental problems. The prolonged of having a phone, there are radiation that will create tumor in our kids. That's another negative impact of a phone. A phone being for fun, but now it's going to be a dangerous thing to our kids. Not only that applies to our kids, but also to us. Prolonging of using a cell phone, that having that close contact with a cell phone, it affects our health. It could be mental health. Number two, another thing is that when this kid, all the time, he'll not think anything else unless he has that phone. It's like someone who is addicted to maybe alcohol or addicted to something else. So the kid is addicted to the phone. Without a phone, that kid will not function anymore. It's like maybe the same gadget. Without memory, that gadget will not work out properly. Another thing that we have, another impact, negative impact on our kids, health wise. You see, most of the kids will spend more time. They would rather spend indoors while using their cell phones, playing games, maybe chatting with other friends, which is not good. They have, any human being, you have to go out to do physical exercises for taking a walk for 15 minutes. But this kid, you remember, this kid is just sitting in the house. Like for example, during this season, all the families are indoors, so this kid will not come out because he is having the phone. And that phone, it's like the phone, it's that kid, and that kid is the phone. So when you leave this kid with the phone, that means he'll spend most of his time or her time chatting with friends, talking, maybe playing games. He will not develop any physical fitness on his body, of which it will result maybe on obesity. Remember that this kid being indoors, there is food, you've provided food for this kid. He's eating that food, but that food is not working out. It's not doing any the kid is not doing any dynamics. That means the food is still in the body, which may be result to an obese. Another thing, mental problem. Most of the internet activities, social media, maybe chatting, and we have heard of cyberbullying on our kids or on any other person. This one will make this one will change the mental thinking of this kid. Every time when his own phone is being cyberbullied, maybe sending text messages that will mentally hurt this kid or emotionally hurt this kid. And another thing is that once you are on the internet, you are exposed to anything in this world that is on internet. For example, the kid might be exposed to pornography, of which, and you remember, whatever the kid sees is the same thing he will do practically to see what happens if I do what was done on the internet, what I watched on YouTube. So that's another thing, the effect on of a cell phone on the kid. Another thing is that this kid will not even hear your voice. If this kid watched a certain content on that on the YouTube, and you see, not all the videos that we find on the internet, they teach us moral living. Some of them, they go contrary to what, as a parent, as a guardian, you expect your son, your daughter to do. So remember that this kid watching on the internet, watching everything that is there, it's going to affect this kid. Number one, this kid is not going to listen unto you, which is arrogant. And number two, this kid will develop a certain behavior that will make you and the community not be proud of that kid. So the cell phone, me, I will not advise the cell phone. I'm not saying that you completely deny the cell phones from your kids. There are some of the contents that they learn from, like for example e-learning. So I'm not advising any parent that you completely prohibit your son or your daughter on internet, but do it under your supervision. There are so many softwares that you may lock other sites that are not that does not apply in this kid's life according to the standards that you want this kid to live. So you have to be careful when you give your daughter, your son, the gadgets to use. And we have seen and we have heard all the things, that the effects of cell phone on our kids, on our son, on our daughters out there. Now, this is how we are going to do things very correctly and very rightfully according to God's standard. Let us supervise, let us be on watch on what our kids are using, how they are using their cell phone. And then again, let us try our best to limit the time our children are using the cell phones, or otherwise we might be raising another rebellious generation that we will not control it the way we want it according to God's standard. We might be struggling to change these kids' behavior, but we don't know the root cause of this behavior. So today, exposure number 2 being the cell phone. A cell phone is not a good advice to young kids as early as under 16 years old. Above 16 years old, I don't have a problem, because this person is a grown-up person, is a person who knows the right and the wrong, a person who has choices. But for under 16, they're the kids. They are very innocent, and these kids, they need direction. And if us as parents and guardian, we are leaving the gadgets to the kids, that is we are directing them at the wrong direction. Another thing, when we get home, let us try our best in the household or as a family member, try to limit not to use the phones when kids are there. Or maybe some of the parents, you will find that they are watching together with their kids. That one, will be encouraging something that will not control it in the near future. So let us try our best not to use our cell phone before our kids. The best thing, the best interaction that we can have, the best entertainment that we can have before our kids is reading the word of the Bible. Not only using the gadgets. You can also use the gadgets, but only a parent who is using that gadget. Or otherwise, use our manual books, which is Bibles, to direct these kids the way the Lord wants us to direct them. And without forgetting that, you might be wondering what kind of exposure that Jesus had. All the time we have read the book, the mission of Jesus, the great things that he did, all of them, they came right from the Bible, from the Word of God. And you cannot have that Bible in the house to keep it as an archive, but you have that book in your house to help you, to direct you. Reading the Word of God day by night, it will transform your life. It will change the way you live, the way you behave, the way you interact with other families. The same thing to our kids. They will live as we lead them. but they will not live as they live themselves. That will be a big lie that I'll be, as Joseph, I'll be teaching you. But in short, the Bible is the best tool to your kids' success. If you want anything you want, just get it from the Bible. That one will get it rightfully. The Bible will guide you how you raise this family, how you raise your family according to God's standard, how you are going to see these kids prosper in the near future. That means that you've got homework to do. Like, you can begin like today. I know most of the parents, maybe you don't have time to read maybe the Bible, but at least take 10 to 15 minutes before you go to sleep to read and meditate on the Word of God. Together you are with your family. It doesn't matter whether that family is your blood family or maybe it's your household. Anything that is in your household, it belongs to you. Whatever happens to it, you are accountable. You'll be the one answerable before God, before the throne. So let's keep the Word of God. It's a breath of life. You remember in the beginning, He created a man out of dust and He breathed life into this man, which is the Word of God. Thank you so much as we await for the next topic about exposure, things that our kids are being exposed to. Thank you so much. Have a lovely time as you meditate on the Word of God, as you raise these young angels. Until next time.
One of the facilitators. It's been an exciting journey so far, and I look forward to helping us grow, and by us I mean the children, the guardians, us the facilitators, to help us grow according to Luke 2:52, which says, "And Jesus grew in wisdom, increasing in wisdom and stature in favor with God and with men." How I pray that as we carry on with this journey, that we all shall grow according to Christ's way, according to the way Jesus grew, and that I'm going to learn from you, we're going to learn from one another, and we're going to help our children grow as Christ.